Within Western music, duration is conventionally represented through a system of note values, which delineate the relative length of each note. A whole note corresponds to 2 half notes. Every half note comprises 2 quarter notes. Each quarter note contains 2 eighth notes, and so forth, with each note being a divisible subdivision of the prior one. In Music21, this concept is adopted through a dedicated duration class, which utilizes the concept of note values to indicate duration in a similar fashion. For example, after importing the Music21 library, we can represent a dotted quarter note by creating a duration object. We'll call it dur and initialize it with a float value of 1.5 to specify a duration equal to 1.5 quarter notes. We can alternatively instantiate an equivalent duration from a string representation of the note type, in this case quarter, and specify it is dotted by assigning 1 to the dots keyword argument. Once we have a duration object, we can use it to define the duration of a note or rest object by assigning it to the object's duration attribute. For instance, middle C equals note.note C4 creates a new note object called middle C, and then middle C dot duration equals dur assigns its duration to the dotted quarter note object that we've just created. Calling middle C.show displays our newly created middle C dotted quarter note. In common practice, when we encounter durations that cannot be represented by a single unit, or when we need to split them across various beam groups or bar lines, we typically resort to using tied notes. The ability to use this notation is also readily available in Music21. To demonstrate, we'll first create a new stream object with s equals stream.stream and define a new time signature using the time signature class with s.insert meter.timesignature 4/4. Finally, to set the duration of a note to 5 quarter notes and 1/16th note, we can use n.duration equals duration.duration 5.25. Upon calling s.show, we observe a whole note tied across the bar line to a quarter note and then tied again to a 16th note. The Music21 object also provides several methods that allow for more flexibility in the way we notate durations. Suppose, for example, we want to notate the same duration with 2 tied notes in the first bar. Calling split note equals n.split at quarter length 2 splits our note after the second quarter note value into 2 objects that we can then append to the stream with s.append split note. This time, s.show reveals a half note tied to a half note tied to the same quarter and 16th notes that we saw moments ago. We can also use the split by quarter lengths method to split the object into any number of objects based on a list of quarter lengths, provided that its sum in quarter notes is equal to the note's original duration. For example, split note equals n.split by quarter lengths with the list 3, 1, 0.5, 0.75 will split our note into 4 new note objects, which as before we will append to the stream, before calling s.show to see our duration oddly divided but as we prescribed into a dotted half note, tied to a quarter note, tied across the bar line to an eighth note, tied to a dotted eighth note. To create rhythms in Music21, we can combine individual note durations into sequences. Let's start by defining a list of floats called note values, which will represent the duration of each note in a rhythmic sequence. Using a for loop, we'll iterate over this list with for note value in note values. Within each iteration, we'll use s.append to append a new note object to our stream. We will assign each new note object the same pitch of C4, but assign a new duration object to the duration keyword argument of each note, setting it to the current note value in our list. As expected, this has created a rhythmic sequence consisting of a dotted quarter note followed by 2 eighth notes, then 2 16th notes and a final quarter note. To edit our rhythm, we can insert new note objects at any point within our stream by calling the insert and shift method. To insert a single object, we specify the offset using a float value to denote an offset measured in quarter notes from the beginning of our stream, and provide the object we want to insert as the second argument. In this case, new note 1 equals note.note C4, duration equals duration.duration 0.75, s.insert and Shift 2, new note 1. To insert multiple objects into our Music21 stream at different offsets, we can use the same insert and shift method with a list that alternates between offsets and the objects we want to insert at those offsets. For example, to insert a dotted 8th note after the second beat followed by a 16th note, we use the list 2, new note 1, 2.75, new note 2. This specifies that the first note object is to be inserted with an offset of 2 quarter notes from the beginning of our stream, followed by the second note object at an offset of 2.75 quarter notes from the beginning of our stream. Once more, we'll call s.show to view our notated rhythm. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful. If you have any questions or suggestions for other Music21 topics that you'd like me to address, please leave a comment below.